Kit Gurus with Phanteks at CES 2023. We are going to come back to these NV7 cases in a while, but first we've got to look at some other stuff. First, we're going to race around some updates. This is the Shift XT that I reviewed, feels like 1,000 years ago. You can see there's an upgrade or an optional extra, which is an LCD panel. It's a 1440p panel and it is a conventional screen, albeit tiny, so you connect it over HDMI and can use it to display, for example, HW info. That'd be my preference, or failing that, a little picture. A quick scamper around some Glacier series water cooling hardware, blocks for NVIDIA 40 series. It turns out that the new preferred colour for Phanteks is white. They're going to use white as their prime colour. Here we have black, and here we have chrome. Combo reservoir, pump and distro plates. This is the R260 Glacier with a D5. Let's just turn it to give a sideways look. Obviously that's the white version. And there we have the black. And then we come to the Glacier CPU blocks. This is for AM5, again in white. We'll be seeing more of this shortly. The white material also diffuses light, so when you turn it on, the RGB that you simply cannot see diffuses through the material. There's the AM5 in black and Intel LGA1700. These are the M25 fans that came with the G500 case, shown on display 120/140 white and black RGB in the hub. And then we move across to some air coolers. Numbered S4, S5 and T6 depending on the number of heat pipes. So we have the S4 120, S5 120, which looks slimmer because it hasn't got a fan on it, but if we put the two side by side, we can see that they're actually physically almost identical apart from the heat pipes. And then this enormous Polar T6 120, which essentially is two of those coolers doubled up. Absolutely hefty with 6 heat pipes. Glacier series all-in-one coolers in 240mm and 360mm. The name pretty much tells you what you need to know. So Glacier 1 240 T30 is the fan Gen 2, i.e. this is a revised Glacier all-in-one. And then you can see high-end Gen 8 pump by Ace Tech. So the key points here for me are a complete absence of RGB. We've got T30 fans, which are high performance, go up to a monstrous 3000 RPM. You've got a flick switch on the hub to control the mode. You've got 3 different profiles that you can set. And T30 because they are 30mm thick. They also use that clever crystalline polycarbonate material for the blades, which means you have a very small tip clearance to the housing. The consequence is that Phanteks is completely certain that the performance of this AIO is going to be awesomely great. Must confess, looking forward to seeing that. Luke, who's currently behind the camera, is almost certainly on doing the review, so we'll be asking him what he thinks. As you can also see, we do have an infinity mirror RGB effect on the pump body, which as always plugs in to the Phanteks RGB ecosystem. 3 revamped cases. When we came to CES last 3 years ago, we saw the P500A, now we have the G500A. If Luke moves around the front, we can see the rather subtle lighting effects through that front mesh and then going along the power supply shroud. Next to that, we have the G360A. These are 2 models already on sale. And then we come to the budget G300A. This sells for a mere £59 euros dollars, but despite that it has enough space to support a full-length 40 series graphics card. And if you come around the front, Luke, you can see the RGB light show that's working through the front mesh panel. As we look at this build in NV7 with multiple fans, it won't make a lot of sense until we take a closer look at the fans that are in the case. So let's just go to the right before we return to this brand new case. The new D30, so we've had T30, now we've got D30, in white or black, and in regular or reverse. So as you see, You can have the fans either in intake or exhaust without changing the orientation. It means, unlike say the Thermaltake Swath fan where you can reverse the flow, you actually have to choose the fan for the installation. But the point is that you can't automatically tell whether a fan is in intake or exhaust just by looking at it in operation. Whether the hub is facing you or not does not tell you which is intake or exhaust when the fan's rotating. Couple of neat features. We've got some plastic clips and we've got some covers for the screws, and now the fans come apart. When you have those parts in place, as you'll see in those cases, the installation's really neat and tidy. The trick with the RGB lighting in these new D30 fans is that in essence you have an integrated Halos RGB fan frame. As we'll see in the builds in 2 seconds, it looks absolutely remarkable. So this NV7 has got 4 fans in the side position, 2 in the rear, 3 in the floor and 3 in the roof, which is 12 in total. The NV7 is all about showing off the hardware to the best effect. So we've got glass on the front, glass on the side. The structure of the case is much heavier duty than we're used to seeing. The steel used in the frame is substantial, and even the rear door is an incredibly hefty piece of kit. You can remove the glass and the case just does not flex. Furthermore, the gap between these glass panels is absolutely microscopic.